Coming to you live with the insight you need from the financials and political capitals of the world to the heart of innovation. This is Opportunities to Consider with your host, author, speaker, and corporate strategist, Hunter Gaylor.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining. We are live at another episode of Markets Hunter. This is our CEO talk. I've got a great guest today, actually two guests. We're back talking about PetVivo. We love this company, and our audience really likes this company because they're advancing animal health through innovation. They're a biomedical device company currently focused on the manufacturing, commercialization, and licensing of innovative medical devices and therapeutics for companion animals, horses, dogs, cats. And we had a great time last time speaking with John, learning about the company. But for today's market update, we're going to be joined by a couple of his upper level management within his organization. So we're excited for that. But for all of those that are tuning in, we are live on Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. We're across all social media platforms. So make sure you like, subscribe, and share this channel. And make sure you also follow hashtag PetVivo. We put the little symbol right here, PETV. That's the symbol for PetVivo Holdings, which is a publicly traded company. So we're excited to have them. So I'd like to bring in my guests today. I'm joined by Mark Middleton, and I'm joined by the CEO and head of the company, founder of the company, John. Mark and John, thank you for joining the show today.
Thanks for having us.
Really excited. So I really want to dive in. I know our audience likes it when we dive in and just get right to it. John, you've built an incredible company. We last time we talked about it. We talked about the management. We talked about the overview of the market. Really, kind of the exciting developments that you're doing. And I just got really excited for having this conversation with Mark Middleton today. And I want to highlight a little bit about Mark. He was an executive with one of the first ever animal health product distribution companies that went public. And it was the first ever. It's called Animal Health International, Inc. The company did well over $1 billion in annual revenues. Just with the vet aspect alone of that company, which Mark was a leader in, represented over $300 million in annual revenues, and he's considered a legend from what I hear in the field of vets. And so this is what I'll say, and it's okay. I don't want to make him blush, but I do want to get in. So Mark, thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for having both of us.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into this. So one of the first questions I want to talk about, John, is, Mark ran a very large division of this. How did you get John?
Well, how did we get Mark? Basically, yeah, I know what you meant.
Yeah.
So I think it originally came through a recruiter, and then we put together our board to interview him because our board had significant sales experience. But in the human medical device side, we wanted to get somebody who was particularly specializing in the animal health space, because in the animal health space, it's even more important to have relationships that are built up over the years. And Mark certainly filled that requirement. And we knew he had the proper contacts to help us build the proper sales team to launch this product, because the product is quite disruptive and unique in the sense that it's naturally derived, and it's actually a medical device that provides better medical outcomes for the companion animal health space.
Well, and that's a really good point, and I think it leads perfectly into the next topic we want to go into, and that's talking about Mark's experience. So, Mark, would you take a few moments and kind of talk about your experience in the industry and what led you to PetVivo, or I guess joining the company?
Well, as a distributor, I started out as a straight commission distributor sales rep, and then worked my way up through the company and into management, and then ended up becoming president of the company and being part of a very, very, very good team of people, and learned a lot about differences in leadership and management. Just because you're in a leadership position doesn't make you a good manager, and just because you're a manager doesn't make you a good leader. So it was quite an experience for me. How Petvivo got my cell phone, but they got my cell phone and called and told me about this technology that they had, Hunter. And it was really hard for me to believe, because I'd launched a lot of products over my career inside the interarticular space for the veterinary medical market. And so I spent months under an NDA looking at their IP, researching them. And it was quite amazing to me that this company could get 19 patents around this biomaterial. 9 of them are worldwide. And then when you dug into their research that they've done on the human side, as well as some of the studies they've done on the animal side, being a naturally derived veterinary medical device, it was intriguing to me for a couple of big points. Number one, it's going to be disruptive, but disruptive in a positive way. Disruptive products that come out in the marketplace, and some of them are just knockoffs of something else, or they're just cheaper. They're really not growing the value of a market. This product can grow the value of a market. It actually enhances capabilities of other products potentially if they were needed. Number two, it's how veterinarians actually grow their business, feed their families. It takes care of the veterinary medical market. Petvivo is supporting veterinary medicine and advancing veterinary medicine with better medical outcomes for lameness issues and osteoarthritis issues with this naturally derived veterinary medical device. They're expanding the market, helping veterinarians grow their business and improve medical outcomes. And all of that was very intriguing to me, to help this company grow and get positioned to commercialize this unique science. And that's why I chose to help Petvivo. The next major reason, I was really impressed with their executive team. There's some really sharp people here.
No, one of the things we talk about on Markets Hunter with our CEO talks is management. Leadership is a fundamental talking point that we like to cover when we speak with companies. So, with your experience, Mark, you had said you could not believe that a product like this existed and that they had gotten patents. Talk to your experience on the number of products that you've seen throughout your history and industry, and why we could potentially use the term that this is a game-changing piece of technology in the veteran space.
Well, most of the products there, I mean, when you think about what's put in the interarticular space and available in veterinary medicine, the bulk of them are pharma of some kind that require body metabolism, some chemical structure, or being metabolized by the body. Now, when you then move into naturally derived products, a stem cell, an IRAP, or a PRP, or something like that, this product actually can help those even perform better. But the fact that it's a true ECM, extracellular matrix, the body's own cells get along with this totally inert veterinary medical device, naturally derived product very well, very well. And the fact that when you inject it, it mimics natural cartilage in arthritic and damaged joints. It provides immediate protection. It helps lubricate. it has some things about it characteristic wise that are unavailable anywhere else in the world except PetVivo.
Well, that's really incredible. And one of the things that we noticed in some of the research into your company is obviously the patents, which is a tremendous achievement, but also the results, especially in horses in the equestrian community, how this lameness can be injected, as you said, they can be injected into these lame animals or these horses, and the time and speed that they are able to be back up and galloping, or we just saw we featured a video last time with Dr. Ash with what they were able to do with one of the dogs, and the level and time of this recovery is tremendous. Have you ever seen anything like that from any other products of this caliber throughout your tenure?
No, and I will classify and give a little more color around your statement. Depending on the type of energy and the severity of the lameness and where the lameness is located from, some of these animals do respond very, very quickly. Others take some time based on the type of energy or injury or where the lameness is originating from. But the fact that it helps protect the joint from further injury, it's just unlike any other product, because most everything else out here that's a farm, whether NSAIDs or corticosteroids or other products, they're not doing anything but basically help eliminating pain, but to get the body to help it to work together. And the way this product mimics cartilage and puts a sponge in between those bones and helps lubricate and cushion, there's nothing else like it out here.
Yeah, once again, I keep repeating myself and saying it's an incredible advancement in science, and especially, in the pharmaceutical, industry. John, I know last time we talked that there are some updates that you're going to have in certain markets. Do you want to cover that?
Well, we had our earnings call yesterday.
Yeah.
So we announced a 10x increase on a year-to-year base on revenues. I think our earnings or loss was smaller than anticipated, which is a good thing. But we also covered that there's going to be 7 different studies that we should have completed by the end of the year. The first one being the ethos study, which is on torn cruciates in dogs. So we focus on animals on each particular joint that's most common to do a study to show efficacy and better medical outcomes going forward. That one will be presented with an abstract at the VOS conference, which is second week of March, which is Veterinary Orthopedic Surgical Conference. It's a pretty prestigious conference, so we're pretty happy that Ethos will get to present there because they had submitted and they were approved to present, and that's public information on the VOS website and so on. Ethos also is owned by NVA, which is National Veterinary Association. They have 2,000 small animal vet clinics that they own. So we feel comfortable that's a very good catalyst for us to get into the small animal market by providing the MWI sales reps with literature and clinical evidence to show efficacy. Because right now we have focused mostly on equine, and coming into this period, I would say the majority of our sales, over 90%, is equine. So we expect that to change. And if you look at the relative market sizes, equine estimates are anywhere from 8 million to 14 million horses in the United States. In terms of dogs in the United States, we have about 64 million. So you can see it's a 6 to 7x multiple of size. And then as we move forward into September, October, we're looking at a potential study for feline, which in the U.S. there are 54 million cats in the market.
No,
so kind of a highlight of what's happening over the next 9 months.
That's exciting, and I think that bridges nicely into my next question. Because of the earnings report that came out, your growth, your revenues, obviously better better than a lot of people were thinking. So, you were able to show very positive growth. MWI, can this cause potential hockey stick? I don't want to get into predictions, but I mean, do you think that there is some positive effects that can occur from this?
So Mark built a very good sales team. So besides Mark, there's 5 people, and we're going to probably add 2 more here in the near future as regional business development people to support the MWI sales team. You got to think about the sales team at MWI. They have 400 territorial managers, 300 in-house salespeople. They need to be provided with support and continued medical education for them to be able to sell to the veterinary doctors. So that's where Mark comes in with his seasoned team of experts, where he's been polling really top-notch salespeople throughout the United States with major players. Mark can communicate a little more on that, on the adoption rate of the MWI people and so on. It's been a very good relationship. To give you an example, we had the VMX, which is the Veterinary Medical Expo in Orlando. Right before that, MWI emailed out to what they felt with the veterinary techs and vets that we were going to be at the conference, kind of giving them the highlights of the product and come to visit our booth. Also, during presentations for seminars and so on, for continuing medical education, so on, several vets on their own mentioned our product. Our booth got inundated with turnout that was spectacular, and we going to see continued support from MWI and emailing to the database of their database, customer base, which 90% of all veterinary doctors have an account with MWI pretty much. So they're the largest player. Mark can expand on that a lot more. So I'll turn it over to Mark.
Yeah, Mark, I want to ask the question as a follow-up to that. Given the sales strategy that you're implementing, when we look at various industries, we look at enterprise sales cycles can be anywhere from 6 to 9 months. What does the sales cycle look like for product turnaround as you're building this external sales team, internal sales support team? Can you speak a little bit to your strategy?
This is not a simple sale. The science is intense. This is rarely a single sales call, feature benefit, walk out the door with an order, hang up the phone, goes online, and thanks for helping me with all that information, Hunter. I'm going to go ahead and order it online. It's rarely a single cycle call. So the fact that MWI has such an incredible ability to digitally message, help market, as well as help brand awareness development for us and our name PetVivo and Spring, that has been a very, very, very good help. They also have the ability to focus their sales teams inside and out that other distributors at times don't have. Every distributor, even in my former and past life, we all look for products that cause differentiation that the doctors would want to talk to you about. But this is revolutionary. It's usually a multiple sales cycle call because this green technology, and it's green technology, naturally derived veterinary medical device, is very different to what other tools are available to help treat lameness and arthritis. And so once they move into a syringe or two, see the outcomes, then it moves into 4 to 6 syringes, and then it goes from there to 6 to 12, and you can just see the orders size increasing. And that we're going to see over time as more awareness and more of our clinical data becomes available this new year we're in. It's going to absolutely pick speed.
Yeah, information is definitely power in this business, right? And so one of the things, it's always about education. How do you educate the client? What's very interesting, and John and I spoke about this last time, is going to the vets and educating the vets and getting the orders in, are you seeing the rate of reordering once a distributor or someone buys it? Are we seeing multiple reorders, or is it having to be more re-education because now you can do it to, you know, cats and dogs and things like that? What does that process look like?
Yeah, we're seeing more reorders, but it's not something you gave a dose today because you bought a syringe and you used it and go, oh wow, and turn around and buy 10 syringes tomorrow. That's
Right.
not what's happening. Reorder, I would rather be slow and work with our tech service team of veterinarians, small animal equine, about the type of cases to pick, because in the veterinary medical world, when they have been using all kinds of other things trying to help this patient and nothing else has worked,
Mm.
you know, here, let's try spring. Nothing else has worked. I got nothing to lose. So let's pick the right type of cases. As a whole, we're doing pretty well in those last resort cases. But working with our service team, looking at our clinical data we've done and the additional clinical data off the 7 studies Mr. LAI referred to earlier on this call will really help accelerate and move this snowball downhill that's already rolling downhill and moving fast. It's just going to get faster.
Well, we do. It definitely is a snowball given the earnings report that just came out. So congratulations to both of you on that. With this, given your background and experience, Mark, can you speak to in the pharma industry, after all of the products you've seen, the ability of what John's created with your company based on the margins of what the product costs? Have you ever seen anything like that from any other products, or is this normal margins that you're seeing across industry, or is this really something that when we say a snowball, this will turn into an avalanche?
Well, I don't know about an avalanche, but the margins, most margins in manufacturing world are much stronger than they are in the distribution world. But the cost involved with product development, the research and development, is pretty steep. But I would say, and John, disagree or tell me I'm wrong, I would say we're further ahead right now than where it was planned and budgeted. We've made more impact at a quicker time than what most pharma drugs, because we're a non-drug, naturally derived green technology veterinary medical device, and it's gaining, and the momentum is definitely moving, and it's moving quick, and the reorders are, and so when you get to improve medical outcomes and these patients not having to stay on medications that require at least annually, sometimes even more frequently than annual, liver screens, kidney screens, make sure everything's still functioning organ-wise. Here you have a naturally derived product you don't have to worry about that with. Safety-wise, Spring with OsteoCushion technology is very, very good.
Yeah, definitely from the research and all of the videos and things that we've seen in the reports, it's an impressive product. So, once again, congratulations to you both. I just want to come to a conclusion.
Hey, Hunter, can I jump in on answering the margin?
Yeah, please.
So
John.
if you look at our product, it's a medical device designation, but we have the margins of what a pharmaceutical company would have, especially when we scale on a gross profit basis. Many times I have made mention it'll be north of 70% gross profit margin in scale. So to give you an example, we are not like other medical device companies where they're working on much thinner margins.
Yeah, and that's definitely something I think analysts and investors should be paying attention to is the fact that you cannot analyze this the way you would normally analyze another company in industry, right? So that's the intriguing point here that I think investors should pay attention to. And obviously, and that speaks to the testament of the leadership that you and Mark have in building out these sales teams. From an educational perspective, we did speak about this a little bit, and I do want to touch base for people that may be watching this. If you're an investor or someone that's even interested in the animal health and wellness space, what can individuals do? Can individual pet owners like myself or family that may own pets, can they go to their veterinarians and request them to look at Spryng? Or if they ask them, hey, have you heard of Spryng? What should that dialogue be? That's to Mark or you, John.
Mark, go ahead.
All right. Yes, they should definitely ask their physician, their veterinary physician, if they have heard of this product called Spryng. And if they haven't, well, they can go to www.sprynghealth.com and start there. Absolutely.
And that has all of the information for the veterinarian physician to be able to learn about the product. And then they can also contact you through that website. If the owner, say the pet owner like myself, or someone can say, I would like this to be done to my pet.
Well, they can say that, but it depends on the type of case.
Right.
Is it an injury? Is it acute? Why they need to see their doctor, their veterinary physician needs to be consulted with at all times. And that's what PetVivo wants them to do. Go talk to your doctor, ask the question. We're available to help those veterinarians because there's no way all of them across the United States know about us yet. But MWI is helping us with that, as well as what we're doing internally to get the message out. So they should ask their doctor of veterinary medicine who's taking care of their equine athlete, whether it's an equine athlete, pasture pet, or their lap dog, their bird hunting dog, their duck hunter, whatever it is. Go see your doctor and ask the question and say, just consider it. I just want to talk to it about my dog, and could you mind doing a little research on it? We're available to help those doctors.
No, that's really good. And that brings me kind of to one of the final points here. If this continued growth goes at the level that we're seeing as this last earnings report came out, I think we'll probably see a Spryng type commercial in the Super Bowl. Are we going to see any of that? Will we be having a Spryng commercial in the Super Bowl?
Not right now. We got better uses of those funds in getting terms of doing more studies for other applications, like urinary incontinence for dogs.
And other product development.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's where we're focused right now.
Well, one of the interesting things, not to bring it back to the Super Bowl, but it is coming up here. And I know, John, you have some predictions that you've made. We'll get into that. But, when you look at the wear and tear that happens and within the inner joints, Mark, these other products that you were able to do with the FDA and all of this, obviously, John and I have talked about this in the past, the human application down the line for something like this could be critical for people that have sustained injuries like football players, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So that is even greater things to look forward to, right? So, when you lose that cartilage, or you can definitely get it back. So I really do like that. So we're going to do prediction picks, John.
Well, my straight out pick is Philadelphia Eagles minus the 1.5. And my proposition bet is that there will be no field goals over 47.5 yards.
Okay. Over 47.5.
There won't be any field goals over 40. So I'm betting the under. All the field goals will be under 47.5 yards.
Okay, great. And Mark, you want to take a stab at this one?
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs. Well, there you go. We know where you stand. So, gentlemen, thank you again for joining me, John and Mark. I really appreciate you having on the show. I think we covered a lot of great information. So any of the individuals that are watching this that are interested in learning more, I encourage you to go to the Spring website. We've got it scrolling at the bottom so you can see it. I also want you to check out Petvivo. You can look at their stock symbol is PETV. You can also go to Petvivo's website, which is in all of the links on all of the live streaming platforms. If you want more information, John does a lot of interviews, so follow the Petvivo social media. If you need links to them, it's all in our social media where we're tagging and resharing, so you'll be able to follow them. And if you have pets, talk to your vets, right? That's the shirt that I want to see, Petvivo. If you have pets, talk to your vets, right? And I like the idea. So anyway, Mark, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time and your knowledge and and sharing about the developments of the company. John, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Hunter.
All right, be well. Thank you.
Thank you.